So first of all, I just wanted to say congratulations on your fellowship. And before we get started, I'll get you guys to introduce yourselves again, just so everyone knows who's who.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
My name is Alex Dunn, and
I'm Doug Dunn.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. So I'll start off with my fellowship questions, then we'll move into the more personal stuff afterwards.
yeah, sure.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the research that you guys have been working on.
We're working on some cancer research at the moment, and we're looking particularly at nanomedicine. So that means that we're producing nanoparticles that we can use to help identify and treat cancer. So the nanoparticles can hopefully be injected into humans, and then you can run an MRI scanner or a CT scan, and then identify where cancer might be. And then you could also use those nanoparticles to then deliver a cancer drug throughout the body.
Okay, cool, very cool. Very high tech. And tell us a little bit about what the fellowship grant means to you guys.
It's been a really special experience for us because just sort of a little bit of background about the fellowship. Basically, it gives an opportunity for Australians to travel overseas to places that they wouldn't otherwise have access to, so that they can undertake research of some sort. Now, the research isn't always sort of necessarily scientific like what we're working on. It can be anything, anything really, but it's been great for us because it means that we're going to have the opportunity to sort of take this project that we're working on to the next step. So the place that we're traveling to, it'll give us access to sort of equipment and people and knowledge and that sort of thing that we wouldn't, we don't sort of have in Australia. So the opportunity to go and do that and sort of further our research is a really good opportunity.
Cool. And just continuing on from that, sort of what do you hope to achieve during your time in London?
Well, there's quite a lot of stuff that we're hoping to do, but the major goal is to gain some access to this special piece of equipment that they have. So for some of our experiments, we need a special piece of magnetic induction equipment. And I won't go into the details, but it'll basically allow us to conduct some experiments in real time of the drug delivery from our nanoparticles. So it'll help us test the effectiveness of the particles for delivering drugs, which is pretty cool. And we'll also get a chance to work with some really famous researchers who work in London, and we'll get to meet them and spend some time with them, which will also be really exciting.
Yes, very cool. And so what brought you guys to study engineering, chemical engineering for that matter?
It was sort of a variety of factors, really. First of all, I suppose at school we sort of really liked the sciences that we were studying, in particular chemistry, obviously. We were more interested in the sort of applied side of that, and so engineering was sort of the logical thing to do thereafter. And we decided to go into chemical engineering, obviously because of the chemistry component. But I don't think at the time we sort of had the idea that we would end up where we are, sort of studying this sort of thing. I mean, chemical engineering is a very broad field, and it's just sort of amazing opportunities that it's opened for us.
Cool. And you probably get this a lot, but what's it like working together all the time? I mean, do you ever get sick of spending so much time together?
We do get that question a lot, and I think it's really beneficial. It's really good because it's sort of like halving the workload. So it really does help having somebody who is working on something very similar to give you an opportunity to bounce ideas off and try and develop that knowledge. So if I'm struggling with a problem, Alex can easily help me out, and vice versa. So that's really good. A lot of people, I imagine working with, if a lot of people did work as closely as we do together, frustrations may arise, but that hasn't really been an issue for us so far. So hopefully that won't change. So it's been pretty good so far.
Are you too competitive?
Sort of, but in sort of a way that most people wouldn't really consider competitive. So it's not sort of the rivalrous competition that you would normally expect. It's sort of more like, I want to do well in whatever we're working on, and he also wants to do well, and we both want each other to do well at the same time, which sort of means the competition feeds. It's not like I'm trying to beat him. It's sort of we're both trying to do well at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yes and no, I think is the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
And do you two live together as well?
Yeah. So this is our apartment. We live an apartment just on the campus at the university. So it's a two-room apartment, so it's just the two of us. So yeah, we do.
Cool, very cool. And separation-wise, have you guys ever been apart for a significant period of time? Is that a problem or?
To be honest, no, not really. We've basically been together whilst we've grown up. I mean, everything from, like, we were at the same school, we were for the most part in the same classes at school, and for those classes that we weren't together, that was sort of at most 30 minutes apart. I think the longest we've ever spent apart was a fortnight when we went on exchange when we were in school.
Yeah.
We went on exchange and we were with different families, so we spent time apart, and that was probably the longest we've been, a fortnight.
It was 14 days exactly.
Yeah, but even then we had access via Skype and phone and that sort of thing. So
Was it hard being apart?
Well, there's a lot going on. So, like, obviously, it was a different experience. But so we were in France, so we were speaking a different language, and we were trying to do a lot of stuff at the same time. So, it's maybe it wasn't as much of an issue as maybe it could have been, but it was an interesting experience.
Cool. And just to finish up, what do you guys see for the future of the Dunn brothers?
We get that question a lot, actually. And a lot of people sort of want to know if we're going to end up in the same field or doing the same thing or start doing whatever together as a group. And I mean, I don't really have a great answer to that sort of question because I don't really see where I'm going to end up. In fact, that's sort of one of the reasons I ended up studying what I am because it sort of leaves my options open. I'm not really sure where I'm going to end up 10 years from now. Obviously, something in this sort of field would be quite interesting, and I'd quite like to do that, but I can't really say anything for sure. I don't have a sort of a set goal in mind. I've got a feeling that Doug is in the same boat.
Yeah, there's no way to know where we're going to end up, and there are just so many opportunities that I think it's too early to tell, so no idea, to be honest.
That's all good. Thank you guys very much. Should be published probably up there within the next week or 2 weeks. Really appreciate you guys spending this 10, 15 minutes having a chat.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah,
nice to meet you. And